besties! Wow, what a fantastic reading week I have had. I am so excited to tell you all about it. Say hi to Smokey. She's back there in her usual spot, curled up on her blanket. Okay, starting off, we had Carter Wilson. He did not disappoint. This is the third book, I think, of his that I've read now, or is it the fourth? But I plan to read all of his books, little along, because I'm really enjoying his books. This was a very dark thriller. It starts with three teenage boys in the woods, and they witness a horrific unaliving and are forced to keep quiet about it. The guilt drives Tommy to write what happened disguised as fiction. He soon realizes he made a deadly mistake, as the perpetrator is now determined to blackmail him into doing the unthinkable. This story was very disturbing and riveting. I gave it 5 stars. Then I read Leave the Light On by Liv Anderson. This one I only gave 3 stars. I felt like the plot really had a lot of promise, but it just fell flat for me. It just felt like the story was unbelievable and, quite frankly, ridiculous. So I do not recommend that one. Then I read You Can't Hurt Me, But I Dare You to Try by Emma Cook. This story is told from the perspective of Anna Tate, who is a ruthless journalist with a dark past. She interviews Dr. Nate Reed in his pain laboratory. His wife, Eva, had a very rare condition called congenital insensitivity to pain that caused her to be unable to feel any pain. After Eva was discovered dead in her home, Anna is hired by Dr. Nate to write his memoir. But is he really a grieving husband, or did he have something to do with her death? Now, this was slow-paced, but never boring. It kept me guessing until the very end. I also went down a rabbit hole and I had to Google congenital insensitivity to pain, and I learned a lot of really interesting things. I learned that people with this condition have a lower life expectancy and that they often die of infections. You don't think about pain as being a good thing, but in reality, pain is what makes us aware that there's something wrong. You know, you wouldn't know you had an infection if you feel no pain. There's just a lot of cases where pain alerts us to there's a problem here. You think of people that have an appendicitis attack or kidney stones or just any number of things. How do we know that something's wrong? Because we feel pain. So that is why their mortality rate is so high, because they can't feel pain and therefore they are often not aware of a serious problem before it's too late. I also read that 20%, now this is Google, so don't quote me on this, but if Google's correct, it said that 20% of people with this condition die of hyperthermia by age 3. That just, wow, that blew my mind. So this book was just fantastic. Very, very good. I highly recommend it. Then next I read Clever Little Thing by Helena Echlin. Oh, couldn't get her name out. This is a deliciously creepy thriller. Charlotte's daughter, Stella, starts having very odd behavior that alarms her after the sudden, strange death of her babysitter, Blanca. She starts to talk and act like Blanca, so much so that it is almost as if Blanca has somehow possessed Stella. Her husband says it's all in her head, but a mother knows her child. This story had shocking twists that completely blindsided me. I loved the ending as it sort of almost ended on a cliffhanger. I can't really say more without giving spoilers, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But I gave it 5 stars. It was absolutely fantastic. Then next was The Final Hours of Muriel Hinchcliffe, MBE by Claire Parkin. It starts with a bang and just absolutely grabbed me. Muriel, a former best-selling romance author, and Ruth, a former journalist, have been best friends their entire lives. But now, Ruth is caring for a wheelchair-bound Muriel in her London home. Their friendship has always been very, very complicated. It's sort of a love-hate relationship, you could say. That's why on the front it says, I love you, I hate you, I can't live without you. This story definitely kept me turning the pages. It was full of surprises. It was never boring. I absolutely loved it. Now, if you're looking for a warm, happy, feel-good read, then this is not the book for you. But there's nothing happy about this story, but it was very, very good. I gave it 5 stars. And then I read Don't Tell Me How to Die by Marshall Karp. This follows Maggie Dunn, whose mom died at the young age of 43, and now she, as an adult, learns she is dying of the same incurable disease that her mom had. So she wants to find a good woman to be a wife for her husband and a mother to her twins. Now, I gave this one 3 stars. I felt like maybe it deserved 3.5, but Goodreads doesn't let you do that. It definitely was not good enough for 4 stars, but it also was a little bit better than 3 stars. But there were some good things and there were some bad things. The good things were it did have a lot of twists that I definitely did not see coming, and I always appreciate a good twist. So that it did have going for it. But there were some things that I didn't like. I felt like it was a little bit confusing the way the timeline kept jumping back and forth from past to present. I felt like it was kind of abrupt sometimes and it was hard to follow. I don't know. And I have read lots of thrillers that did jump back and forth between timelines, but this one I felt like didn't do a very good job of that. I found myself kind of being like, wait, what? And I don't normally have a hard time following that, so I feel like it was more the writing of this, since that is not normally a problem for me. The other thing, I really did not like the portrayal of women in this story at all. So that was why I gave it the rating. So do with that what you will. I don't know whether to say, it definitely was not like something I would rush out to go buy or something. And then this, sadly, was a DNF. I was hoping that, I love neighborhood thrillers, and I don't know. I tried to read it. I stuck it out about halfway through. I found myself just kind of underwhelmed and bored. It was really, it moved slowly, but in a boring way, I guess is the best way to put it. Because it just was not, I just found myself just not wanting to finish it. And so I didn't. There's too many good books for me to waste my time on something that I don't like. So I would not recommend that one. Okay, so I will see you all next time for another delightful book haul. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, and give me a little like on the like button if you would, and I will see you all next time. Bye.